So in 2014, we had 3 fungicide treatments, and I think we're a little more successful at controlling stem rust. So the terminal score for PBW 343 with 2 spray treatments was 20 ms versus a 60 MSS. On day 2, we had better control, and we had a little better control all the way through the experiment. And the same can be said for the APR variety Franklin, where these readings are lower than the untreated plot. The same thing for Danda and Kingbird and for Eagle 10. So now we can look at some data that I think is a little closer to something that I have more confidence in it. And so this is the main effect of variety. Remember that variety is the whole unit. And so this is the yield rank of those varieties as measured over all levels of the subunits. So that's the number 1 variety was the cultivar Eagle, yielded 2.74 tons per hectare, evaluated over all levels of the fungicide treatments. So that's treated plus untreated average. And sometimes it's helpful to compare everything else in the trial to something you know. So in my case, I was interested in this single gene protected variety, and it yielded, everything else in comparison to it yielded below that. So again, just to remind ourselves that some of these means are estimated with more precision than others. The means in this column have a standard error that's a function of 3 replicates and 3 fungicide treatments, which gives us a sample size of 9 observations. And so the standard error of the estimate for that treatment mean is the square root of the error variance over the square root of the variance, which is the standard deviation, over the square root of the number of samples. And the higher the number of samples is, the better the estimate of the mean. So this then is the main effect of fungicide treatments over all levels, all replicates and levels of the variety. And again, each mean in this table is a function of 3 reps times 5 varieties, and so the standard error is estimated by the standard deviation divided by the square root of n equal to 15. So now we can look at the interaction treatments for varieties by fungicide treatments. So these values here are the same ones you would have seen in the table for the main effects of variety, and these are the main effects of fungicide treatments. This is measured in, all of it is measured in tons per hectare. And the rank would be the same as the rank we had the last time. And the fungicides would be ranked as the treatment with 2 fungicide applications gave a higher average yield than the treatment with 1 fungicide treatment than the treatment without, that was unprotected. But what we're interested in really is, are there any differences that are statistically significant? So what I did not do, actually didn't take time to do, was to run the analysis of variance and calculate the sums of squares and the mean squares. Mostly because I didn't have time. So when I see a table like this and I see numbers like this, I don't have the whole story. I really don't like to see numbers like this, because it really doesn't tell me whether any of those differences are statistically significant or not. So I apologize for not being able to attach an F-test and the standard error of the treatment mean so I can calculate an LSD. But we'll just go ahead and look at these numbers and see what we can make out of it.